And I'm going to ask the question, the Kermit the Frog Patrick Mahomes incident, was it good or bad form for the Raiders? And who do you think brought it?
Well, this is some fan shit. We know who brought it.
We do? I don't know anything. I made
Yeah.
a theory that Antonio Pierce and Max Crosby did it together to
Nah, I
get
think
the
it
Raiders motivated.
Nah, I think it came out today. I think we know what fan brought it, and I don't know this guy. And actually, I've only ever had positive interactions with him on Twitter, and or the X as the kids call it. But yeah. So no, I think it was a fan thing. I think that the players, in this case, it was Trey Taylor, young man.
Yeah, the 7th round draft pick had to take on all of that stuff.
Yeah, he kind of got caught up in it. But so I have a couple of different things here. Is that at first glance, I thought it was funny because what do we do as Raider fans? We joke about that shit all the time about, freaking Patrick Mahomes walking on and off the field like he just took a shit in his pants. And then when he talks, he sounds like Kermit the Frog. And we make fun of that guy all the time. It's what we do. I think that by getting the players or player in this case pulled into it, yeah, he probably would have wanted that back. But if it wasn't really that big of a deal, it wasn't like, they just it was a silly thing. It wasn't like any venom behind it. It wasn't malicious. It wasn't hateful. So I really didn't have a big issue with it. And then a lot of the fan response has been, oh no, now we just gave them another reason and we gave them this. And it was just like Gruden driving a bus around the Arrowhead and all that. I'm like, but here's what I would say to those of you that come out on that front. You think Patrick Mahomes needs anything extra? Like you'd think that what is arguably the greatest rivalry up there with the Packers and Bears in the history of the NFL, the rivalry between the Raiders and Chiefs, you think they need extra motivation? You think that's going to do anything extra to them? I would no, it's not. I read. I've got some incredible stats we're going to do on Raiders Fan Radio this week on the level of playing ability that Patrick Mahomes has had since he's been in the league. Yo, he's like a Hall of Famer already. You think that you think it's going to be any different on game day? It's not. It's not like that. When you're at that level of talent, you're at that level of mental acuity when it comes to playing the game of football.
Stop hyping him up. It's bothering me.
Well, some fucking puppet is not going to change that. You know what I mean? Like that doesn't change. Like,
it's
and
fun.
so
It's fun.
I know. I agree. That's what I'm saying.
Every bit of it.
That's what I'm saying. Like it didn't bother me, and that's what I'm speaking out to the people that are like, "Oh no, we've triggered them or activated them." No, they've been beating our effing ass for how long? How many straight division titles do they have in the AFC West? They're getting ready to win or try to win at least their 3rd Super Bowl in a row, and he's already got what 3 out of 4 or 5 years, whatever the hell. I mean, like he's been in the league 6 years. Like, you think a goddamn puppet is going to, come on. No, we're going to get their biggest, hardest punch every time they take the field, no matter what. You could have 19 freaking Muppets show up and make fun of their ass, and it ain't going to change. The last thing I'll say is this. Let me add one more thing. Last thing I'll say is this. I like the fact that the Raiders aren't scared. All that accolade that I just spewed out there and almost made me sick about Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, the Raiders aren't scared of him anymore. We're not scared of the Chiefs anymore. The days of us depending on other teams to take them out of the postseason, those days are over. It's our time to take them out, and it always has been.
It's our time down here.
That's right,
unless
Annie.
You go up Troy's bucket.
That's right, Annie. You stay a goonie. But like that whole idea, man, like it always has been our time, and now we gotta act on it, and we gotta make that shit a reality and keep these some bitches from hopefully winning the division title again, and potentially knocking them out of the playoffs because ain't nobody else gonna do it. So it's coming down to us, and we're not scared of their punk asses.
Yeah, let's be honest. I mean, everybody has differing opinions on every single thing nowadays. It doesn't matter left, right, up, down, sideways, upways, downways, whatever Willy Wonka's elevator wants to frickin' do nowadays. People have an opinion about it. So could it be good or bad form? Technically, it could be both. But that being said, I freaking loved it. And it, to me, brought back that clip or that quote from Antonio Pierce of, we gonna talk our shit, we gonna smoke our shit, because it's the effing Raider way. So I love every minute of it, whether a fan brought it or not. I was hoping Antonio Pierce, and some of them did it behind the scenes, like in a conspiracy or whatever. I would have freaking loved it even more. So I loved every minute of it. I'm actually believing that they do got a little more motivation now, but I love it. This is like the old school stuff from, you know, many years earlier that just embellishes the rivalry even further. You know, we did the drive around the parking lot with Gruden, you know, then they unfortunately did the merry-go-round on our field. And then, you know, Josh McDumbbutt didn't even think that was disrespect, but it was. And now we did the Patrick Mahomes thing, and we won on Christmas. So we're kind of edging them a little bit. But now I guarantee you, this is just my opinion, but I think they don't need any more motivation. They're always going to give us their best. But some of the younger players on the team that don't really know the rivalry for the past few seasons, they're all amped up a little bit more because of this. And that's okay. Like you just said, Murf, bring it. We're ready. Antonio Pierce has got this team ready for it, and we ain't afraid anymore. So fuck it. Let's go. It's all fun. But I do have an issue with Antonio Pierce on this subject. Let me see if you have the same issue.
Okay.
So he was asked about the incident in the media, and then he said something to the fact of, you can't do that stuff in my days or you'll get fined or it wouldn't work out. But then when he was specifically asked about the Kermit incident, he said, I talked to my players and we nipped it in the bud and it's over with. I had an issue with that. I wanted him to basically tell them, bring it. You know, like I wanted that swag and that talk your shit, do your shit. But he went the route of being a head coach. And did he really nip it in the bud? Does he not want it to go any further? Or in the locker room, is he saying something different? Is he sending mixed messages from your opinion?
Well, here's where I come out on it. And I'm gonna piggyback my comments on All Eyes on G there, who says players should leave the shit talk to fans. I understand the sentiment. That said, what is swaggering boisterously? That the villain, big and bold. He'll
That's
knock
exactly
you down.
what we did.
It's swaggering. What did Jack Jones do after he picked off Patrick Mahomes in Arrowhead running into the end zone? He stared him down. He was swaggering boisterously. The week before, when we played the freaking Chargers and ran up 62 points on them, we were pillaging just for fun. You don't have to score 62 points. You only got to score more than your opponent, but we ran that sumbitch up because we were pillaging just for fun. So that whole idea of not talking shit and leaving that to the fan, no. Talk that talk. You got to back it up, because if you don't back it up, you look like a punk, right? But little ass boy, like all that shit, no. Al Davis's, the entire mystique of the Raiders was built on intimidation. He wanted your quarterback going down early. And even before that, he wanted you, your team, and the team's fans to be nervous from the time their buses pulled into the parking lot at the Oakland Coliseum. He wanted them to be nervous about the fans. He wanted them to think that the Raiders were cheating. He wanted them to think that the Raiders were doing things pregame that were cheating, putting helium in the football, watering down the fields, all the different things that built into the mystique of the Raiders. And why? Because if you're thinking about that, you're not thinking about football. You're not thinking about the game. That is entirely, it is the absolute DNA of the Raiders. And that's not just my opinion. And I'm not taking a shot at you, All Eyes on G, but I'm saying that, like, anybody that would disagree with that, take it up with Al Davis, because that's what he wanted. He didn't want you thinking about playing football. He wanted you thinking about all this other shit that had nothing to do with the game, in between the lines, in between the freaking whistles. So that's what I would tell you. So if there's a version of that can now exist in 2024, you can't have Phil Villapiano ripping guys' helmets off anymore. You can't have Gene Upshaw, taping up casts on his arms and beating the shit out of guys. You can't do that anymore. But whatever version of that Raiders, the Val Davis's vision, you can apply to 2024. Fucking A, let's do it. And if
do you have a problem with
shit? Hell no, I don't have a problem with talking some smack.
No,
man.
with what Antonio Pierce said. Like I said, he deflected publicly in the media.
Yeah, and that's fine, because he deflates the story. That's what a good leader does. You deflate the story, and then you move on to the next question, right? And then it becomes.
I hope he went in the locker room and said, "Yeah, fuck
you're goddamn right he did." That's
I had to say that publicly, but you know what? Let's talk our shit, smoke our shit, and you know what? I'll go to back and I'll deflect from all of you guys. Put it on me. Let's go.
You know what he did? He walked into that locker room and went all Jack Nicholson and a few good men. And they asked him, "Did you order the code red?" He said, "You're goddamn right, I did.
Goddamn right, I ordered the code red.
You sleep under the blanket of freedom, which I provide." And they question the way that I provide it.
What a great movie.